It is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, also known as Election Day. And this is our first off-season edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Yeah, happy Election Day.
Oh, am I getting elected to anything?
You are not. You are not.
I think I could one day. I swear I could.
You know what? You would be a great politician, I think. I think actually, yeah, I think you would.
I think I would be too. I don't have the credentials though. I think I need some sort of college degree. That would help. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm a man of the people.
Yes, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Together? That'd be nice.
Oh, good ticket? Yeah, I don't know.
Plouffe Rose?
I think
Plouffe?
I'm past that. Probably could have run for it in my 30s, but not right now.
I'd be your VP. I don't want all the responsibilities. Let me just be the guy that's just riding your coattails.
That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Brady Rose, by the way, who was elected president of his fraternity over the weekend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What, Brady?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Very proud of him. Always proud of both of our kids, including our older one, Josh, who turned 25 over the weekend. So there we go. Good stuff. This is good, too. If you're a baseball fan in Los Angeles, pretty impressive turnout for the parade. Second straight for the Dodgers, who moseyed their way through the streets of Los Angeles before working their way once again to a sold-out Dodger Stadium. Blake Snell was out there. Our buddy Miggy Rowe was kind of cooling off some of the fans, having fun with them, spraying them with all sorts of, yeah, go do it, Miggy. Played a huge role in their come-from-behind victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's listen to a bunch of the world champs.
I love the Dodgers. I love Los Angeles. Arigato.
Hey, we love you so much. I'm so thankful for all of you. And I know they're going to get one more next year. And I'm going to watch just like all you.
And then I'm ready to get another ring next year. Let's go.
And I want to take this time to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody. The triple champ does what the fuck he wants. October out. Deuces.
Okay, so in order, that was Yamamoto, Kershaw, Ohtani, and then Kike with the mic drop. Woo! I mean, he was on fire.
One.
Yeah, he was on.
He might have been lubed up, Can't hold him accountable too much there.
Started with the whole ripping of Drake, and then continued on with whatever the heck the rest of it was. But if you had won a ring, do you think you would have been more Kike or more subdued?
Oh, I mean, I would have been an idiot for sure. There's no doubt in my mind, especially at that time in my life. Yeah. I mean, I when I was a rookie spraying champagne in the Target Field clubhouse, I was an idiot. I went out to the fans, was spraying them. I was an idiot, but it was so much fun.
Do you have any pictures or video of that?
I do. You pull it up. Maybe the next episode.
Yeah, you haven't shared any of that.
Yeah. It's good times.
I'm sure it was. Very good times for the Dodgers, who celebrated an awful lot. And then they're going to look a little bit different, as teams always do, for 2026. So I ask you this. The biggest question heading into the Dodgers offseason is?
We saw the bullpen struggle. I don't necessarily think it's the bullpen. I think they can figure that out, and I think they will. I think it's the outfield. And kind of what they do there. Is Andy Pages truly the answer at center field? I know he made the All-Star team last year, but we saw what he did in the playoffs, and he can play a hell of a defensive center field, so maybe you do keep him there. But I just think there's question marks even in left field, and what role is Teo going to play going forward? I think the outfield hasn't sorted itself out yet, and there can be some guys available during the offseason. So I think that's where my focus is going. Obviously, they need to do something in the bullpen, but we saw like a kind of like a random group of outfielders out there. Kike is a free agent, and he was obviously a playoff guy. Alex Call came over. He didn't do much. Maybe they want to see more out of him. it's an interesting group out there, and I think they can improve what they were throwing out there last year.
I don't think Pages made the All-Star team, by the way.
He didn't?
No, he did not. Teo has I think a multi-year, maybe a 3-year deal. Does that sound right? So
yeah, I know he's there, but
yeah. I mean, they tried Conforto. Obviously, that didn't work. That was a 1-year deal.
Didn't make the All-Star team.
He did not. So Conforto had that 1-year deal that didn't work. Kike might not be a Dodger to start the year, but he will be to end the year.
Sign him in June.
Yeah, he's like a dog where even if you lose him, he finds his way back. So we'll see him at some point in a Dodger uniform.
I'm tripping. I was like 100% certain that he made the All-Star. Maybe he made the All JM team, and I just
there you go. Which is a bigger award than the All-Star team.
So.
Actually, I think you were. Your first inclination was, I don't think it's the bullpen. I do think that it's the bullpen for several reasons here. Tanner Scott, what's his future with the team? I mean, obviously he can't go anywhere because he still has 3 years. And I mean, he signed a 4-year, $72 million deal, and it was a disaster. I know he got hurt at the end, but there was going to even be a question about whether or not he could make the team. He was just unreliable. Blake Treinen does have a year left on his contract. I'll be curious to see whether or not he wants to come back. I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but I don't know. He's got 4 kids, I think. You might want to start that next phase of his life. It's been a long career for him, and now he's got 3 rings, so maybe he's done. Plus, he was not very good down the stretch. Kirby Yates became a free agent, so he's not going to be back, I don't think. What do you do with Roki? Roki is presumably a starter with the team, but man, he looked really good at times, and I think that they're going to have a lot of openings. So I would imagine he'll be a starter in part because of the way they handled the staff this year. Only one guy, Yamamoto, threw any substantial innings whatsoever. I think he was the only one to throw more than 91 innings on the staff at all. So Yates, Kopech, both free agents. What do they do with Emmett Sheehan? I think he's still a starter. I really think they want to keep those guys starting once a week, but it just feels like there's a lot of openings here.
I think they just have so much pitching, and a lot of them are starters, the young guys, and maybe you start to transition them into bullpen roles. I do believe it is an offseason priority. I think I'm just a little bit more curious on what they do with the outfielders, because you can kind of piece together a bullpen, but you can't really piece together an outfield. You need to go get some guys, and there's some big time outfielders out there, as you know. And people will be really mad if Kyle Tucker went to the Dodgers.
What do you think would be the national thought about that?
That people would hate that. And honestly, I don't think I want it either. At this point, I don't want to listen to people complain about it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would like to see him end up somewhere else, and I'd like to see what the Dodgers do, because they have traded. They have made big trades before. Not a ton of them in the offseason. Usually they'll pull the trigger. They did pull the Glasnow deal in the offseason. But other than that, I can't think of too many, right? So they made a Machado deal, a Darvish deal, a Scherzer, Trey Turner deal. All those were during the season. Those are pretty substantial. So we'll see.
You know who'd be great there? Harrison Bader.
Yeah. I think he could get a more prominent role elsewhere, but if he wants to join the team, yeah, could see that.
I mean, I'm all in on Harry.
Dodger fans, and we know you're listening. What do you want in the offseason? What is the part of the team that you're keeping your eye most closely on? Lot to get to with them, obviously. Lot to get to. So there you go. Hey, this video, Baseball Today, it is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify, the best place to start and grow a business, which is why we partner with them here at John Boy Media. Did you know? John Boy Media, we've relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new Slashline site, and it was a great, great connection. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life really is a home run when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools, they're a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way that you can build and manage a business. You actually have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything. directions, reports, editing images, content ideas. Shopify's got your next move covered. Now, if you want to be like us and start building your brand from the ground up, it's time to go over to Shopify and start your trial today. Click that link, shopify.com/talking. If you're ready to leave the amateurs and head over to the big leagues, that is the place to go. We'll see you at Shopify pretty soon. All right, continue on here. The BBWAA finalists for all the big-time awards, they came out on Monday, so we're going to run through a few of these. Sans the Manager of the Year awards, not because they're not important, they are, but today we're focusing on the players. So in the AL, they released the top 3 in each category. You got Judge, Raleigh, J-Ram, the Cy Young, Scooble, Crochet, and Hunter Brown. Rookie of the Year, Kurtz, Wilson, Roman Anthony. Over in the National League, the MVP, Ohtani, Schwarber, and Soto, your top 3. Skeens, Sanchez, and Yamamoto for the Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year, Baldwin, Horton, and Durbin. Out of those 6 categories, which one, in your opinion, is the toughest one to call? Meaning, which one's going to be the closest?
I mean, I think everyone's focusing on the AL MVP and kind of what the writers do there. The National League Rookie of the Year is also one I think that is an interesting case. The rest of them, I think, have kind of figured themselves out. Like Kurtz is going to win AL Rookie of the Year by a landslide. Ohtani's going to win NL MVP. Skeens is going to win the Cy Young in the NL, and I think Scooble's going to win the AL and the Cy Young in the AL. You think differently?
Well, I actually think that I think if people really boil down the numbers, I truly believe the AL Cy Young is not decided. I mean, it is decided because you have to vote before the season ends, I do believe. But just to kind of go through it a little bit, you've got Crochet and Scooble, 1 and 2 in the league in strikeouts, first and tied for second in innings pitched in the American League, first and third in the AL in ERA, first and 5th in the AL in WHIP.
I think Scooble has him in almost every single category you just mentioned,
except strikeouts.
But he's got him in WHIP. He's got him in ERA.
The difference is not
Crochet pitched one more game, so
okay, pitch one more game.
Yeah.
All right, so you think that it's either AL MVP or National League Rookie of the Year. I actually think National League Rookie of the Year. I thought Drake Baldwin was great this year, but Cade Horton was one of the best pitchers in baseball. Forget about rookies in the second half, and they truly, truly missed him in the postseason too.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to get I think he'll end up winning it. How close do you think? What's just first blush? We're going to have time to break it all down when we get to awards week. But how close do you think the Judge Raleigh thing is?
It's so strange. I honestly don't know. I feel like it could come back and there's a ton for Judge, and I wouldn't be surprised. It could come back and there's a ton of votes for Raleigh, and I wouldn't be surprised because it's been such an interesting dynamic talking about that. I think people really, really feel passionate about like Raleigh catching and what he did, and then there's people that are passionate about Judge and like, look at his offensive numbers. These are insane, and we can't. I always say you can't have Judge and Ohtani fatigue because just because they're that good, it's very hard to one up yourself every single year. Like, but those numbers the offensive numbers are incredible. So that's, to me, obviously, I think everyone can agree that's the most intriguing race. But again, like, because there's human nature involved, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a landslide either way. If that makes sense.
I think the Judge wins it, and I actually think that it's pretty substantial. I do think that the people who vote say to themselves, most of them do, that if this was the first year that you saw Aaron Judge put up these type of numbers, would he get the MVP? And I think if you're honest with yourself, you'd probably say yes, because they are so gaudy and so incredible. And I have been a guy that has been on Cal Raleigh's side from the standpoint of the catcher, that I don't think that WAR does it enough justice in terms of how beat up these guys get. how tough it is for guys to hit. That catchers in the second half can offensively fall off a cliff because they are just so done. And he only sat, I think, those days where he wasn't a catcher, he was a DH. What did he miss? 3 or 4 games the entire regular season? I mean, he was a guy who was counted on at the top of their lineup to produce, and he did from both sides of the plate and just have a magical 60-homer run. It was so once again to say it's something that we'd never seen in the sport, but I do think that Aaron Judge ends up winning this thing and probably gets, what are there, 30 first place votes, something like that, maybe 30. I don't even quite remember how many first place votes, but I think he could get 60% of the votes, 65.
Dude, his numbers are insane.
Insane.
Like, people need to go look at these numbers.
So this would
it's
be
not good enough to say, yeah, Judge had a great year. No, Judge had, one of the best offensive years we've ever seen.
This would be his 3rd MVP, I believe, right? I know people say should have been 4, but I can only deal in what it was. By the way, when we're having these discussions about players, from 30 or 40 years ago, or even 20 years ago, well, it never won an MVP. Sometimes you have to look at the years that everybody else has. Just because you don't win an MVP doesn't mean you didn't have an incredible, incredible year. Sometimes. Just always like to throw that out there when you're having your fun little water cooler. Not that anybody stands around a water cooler anymore. It's now a water cooler. You do?
Yeah.
You have a water cooler?
Yeah, like a dispenser. Yeah, that's what a water cooler is, right?
Yeah. But well, usually the water coolers are now in the wall. Like at NFL Network, we have it in the wall. So
I want one of those. I've looked into getting them. They're quite expensive.
Yeah. Like it's already got to come with the house.
I have a water service. You know what I did? I switched to glass bottles, the big 5-gallon glass bottles. Those things, that's a workout in itself.
Wait, so you just carry a glass bottle wherever you go?
No, I put it in the dispenser. But they used to come in plastic bottles. Everyone's mad at plastic now.
Yeah.
So
true.
Olivia made a switch to glass, and it's incredibly heavy, but luckily I'm very strong.
Wait, so you take that and you flip that thing over?
No, we don't flip.
Oh.
We don't flip.
God damn, I'd be like, that is a workout unto itself. Huh. I don't even know what that thing like. Take a picture of it. Send it to our chat, please.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I probably won't, but okay.
Okay. What does everybody think is going to be the closest race out of those 6? Once again, we do believe that the managers are important people too. But here they are. The rest of them, you've got Scooble. I guess he does win. Kurtz, Ohtani, Skeens. I think Horton. Is Ohtani going to be unanimous?
There's always 1 or 2 guys that want to just shake it up,
Okay.
So no, I don't think he is.
Is Skeens unanimous?
No.
Sanchez had a great.
Kurtz might be. Kurtz might be the only unanimous one we get.
Yep. I think you and I are on the same page. I think that's fair. Hey, shorter days, they don't have to be so dismal. It's time to reach out and check in with those you care about and to remind ourselves we're not alone. As seasons change and days actually grow darker sooner, it can be a tough time for many people out there. BetterHelp is encouraging everyone to reach out. Check in on friends, reconnect with loved ones, remind the people in your life that you're there for them. Just as it can take a little courage to send that message or grab coffee with someone on your team you haven't seen in a while, reaching out for therapy can feel difficult as well. But guess what? It is totally worth it. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that very first step. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/baseball today. Once again, that is BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball today. Go do that. It's a sign of strength for you. All right, we continue on. Reason I am donning the Atlanta Braves cap, they have a new skipper, although he is definitely not new to the franchise. Bench coach Walt Weiss is moving up 1 chair. He's taking over for the recently retired from that role, at least, Brian Snitker. He's been the bench coach pretty much since 2018. He's a former leader of the Colorado Rockies as well. 61 years old. By the way, that's a great photo that Dan found of. Instead of standing in front of a green screen, he's standing in front of a red screen.
Is
I
he
like
is he
that.
pushing those forearms up, or is that just what he's got?
Hey, listen, do you know Walt is like a 7-time black belt? Do you know
Don't mess
this?
with Walt.
No, you do not mess with Walt. And he's really one of the good guys in the sport. Always loved catching up with him. Were you surprised that they kind of waited this long and just went with the dude who was sitting to Snit's right?
How many people did they interview? That's what I want to know. Is that out there?
Not really. They kind of kept it mum.
You know, I actually don't hate this. A lot of teams, I think, need a shakeup at manager and somebody like a new voice. But I think like they are not an organization that needs that. Like they have their.
Hmm.
I think it's true. I mean, Snicker, how long was he in the organization for? And he had
Yeah, for 50 years.
and he had a ton of success there. I mean, they have their team. They've had success with this team. You know, last year obviously wasn't good. They played better towards the end of the year. But I think like familiarity here is okay. I don't mind it. Other teams, like, you know, I thought my Twins would go out and get somebody a little bit more flashy, or at least somebody that would draw a pop from for the fans. I don't think the Braves needed to do that here. So I don't mind this hire at all. The only one I would like and I think should get a managerial job and hasn't had time to interview is my guy Danny Lehman, the bench coach of the Dodgers.
Well, there were people that thought he was going to get this job.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. I think he's going to be well sought after. I don't know exactly how much he's put himself out there yet, but I like this for the Braves. I do.
Well, there's only 2 more jobs open.
Yeah,
I think,
those
right?
things build up.
They did. Like I said, I've known Walt a long time. I really like him a lot. He was 82 games under 500 his 4 seasons in Colorado, but nobody will ever blame him for that record just because it can be such a shit show, particularly on the pitching side. If my math is right, at 61 years old, the only managers that will be older are Pat Murphy and Tito. I think, you know, people are going younger and younger.
Yeah, you think?
Like Butera? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right. So, you know, you got a guy in Washington who's basically going to be
Yeah,
half
but who would
his
win
age.
the fight? Walt Weiss or Blake Butera?
I'm not going against Walt Weiss in anything. I'm telling you. 7-time black belt. He's one of those quiet guys, but you do not F with him. It's that simple. So I know it doesn't feel like splashy, like why did we wait so long and this is the guy? We just could have made that move within 48 hours of Snit announcing that he was done. I understand all that. The bigger question with the Braves is because they had so many injury issues during a horrific 2025 season, do they need to go out and make a big splash, or do they just need to say, okay, our guys will be healthy and we'll be back in contention?
I mean, I'd love for them to make a big splash. Ha-Sung Kim, he opted out. You know, that was maybe their idea of a shortstop for next year. I'd love to see them go make a big splash. I think that they have the market to do it. I think that their fans, I mean, it's a great fan base that you'd want to continue to reward. They have team-friendly deals already. I think they have room to go out there, whether it is a trade, but more than likely it'll probably be a free agent deal. I think they should. I think that would be very, very good for them to kind of like wipe the stench off of 2025.
I would say not only would it be kind of fun to watch, I think it's necessary for them. Now, their top 10 guaranteed contracts come out to about $155 million. They have some of the best contracts in baseball, right? Matt Olson, he makes $22 million a year. Austin Riley, he's at 22. I know that the last couple of years have not gone the way he's wanted, in part because of injury and in part because he just hasn't been as good. Chris Sale, I imagine he's coming back. We're going to know that very, very shortly for $18 million. But they need to find a closer. Raisel Iglesias is a free agent. Does that mean you go out and try and steal Edwin Diaz from the Mets since he has opted out? Ryan Helsley, I know he was horrible with the Mets, but he has had a pretty good run in recent years with St. Louis. Devin Williams is a free agent. Do you go a little bit on the older side with a guy like Emilio Pagan, who was sensational last year in Cincinnati? Do you trade for one? And I think the starting pitching, I think if they're just going to say, well, you know, our guys are going to be healthy and we'll be fine. No. That's not how you do it. You stockpile. You have to go get some veterans that can at least help you and give you some dependable innings. I mean, do you really want to go into next year thinking that Sale, Strider, and then Waltrip, who was great, but very young still. Schwellenbach had an elbow. We don't know where Ronaldo Lopez is in this whole thing. Is he going to go back to the bullpen? Is he going to be a starter? Can he stay healthy? Smith-Shawver is out for the year. I mean, if you don't add depth to that, then you are certifiably insane, I think. So I would expect them to make some big moves.
Yeah, there's been some names that have come out recently, guys that have opted out or not. Teams have not opted in on them. Shota Imanaga is now a free agent, which is kind of shocking to me. I think we'll talk about that in a bit. Brandon Woodruff is out there. Like there's some names they can go after. Yeah, they do need to make a splash. I'm in on that.
Yeah, they do. Because, I mean, they're right now, as you sit into the offseason, people are going to have them as third behind the Phillies and the Mets. And you totally expect the Mets to do something big. And Philly is still Philadelphia, and we expect them to do things as well. So if you're Atlanta and you just say, we just need to get healthy and Ronald Acuna's got to give us a full year, and that's not going to be good enough. That's not going to be good enough. Go out and do something. But Braves fans, we want to hear from you. Obviously, closer, starting pitching depth. You need a shortstop. Marcell Ozuna is also a free agent, has been a dependable guy as a DH. Where do you want to see the most improvement on this team? There's a lot of areas I think you can go. Let's talk a little bit about the Shota news and the free agency. He actually did become a free agent early on Tuesday morning. The Cubs, they decided not to extend his contract to a fifth season. So then that reverted to Shota, who could then opt out of the rest of his deal, which he has now done after 2 years on the north side of Chicago. Did that news surprise you?
Yeah, it did. I'm curious. I mean, so 3 years, 57 is, quick math, like 19 a year. Is that what it is? Did I nail that right there? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
To me, that's a pretty fair deal for a starting pitcher going forward. Especially, we've seen a lot of guys get deals that are surpass that, and fourth or fifth starters get close to that. So, does that mean they have some sort of, the medical records they don't like? Is that what you think it is? Because that to me is shocking. Not shocking that he opted out of his $15 million player options. I think he can go get more somewhere. But for the Cubs to decline that, I'm interested, and maybe there is some news that I haven't read. But that's my only thought is, do they have some medicals that say they shouldn't be doing that?
Well, you have to remember even though he's young to us in terms of us getting a chance to see him every 5 days, he's 32 years old, and he did stumble down the stretch. He was not good in September. They passed him over for a Game 5 start in the NLDS against Milwaukee. So there were some signs, both physical and maybe what they thought of him in the organization as a pitcher. I know they loved him. I know the players loved him. I had a chance to interview him for dugout discussions, and he was a full delight. Like he's an amazing, amazing personality, and somebody that's going to have no trouble blending in, whether he goes back to Chicago on a different deal or goes elsewhere. But for a team that didn't have enough arms down the stretch, it did surprise me a little bit, unless they're planning on using that money elsewhere, if you know what I mean.
That's another thought process there. They have a big free agent that they'd like to bring back. But I understand that Imanaga struggled towards the end. I understand his age. But, dude, I just think that with the going rate for a starter is, like the familiarity that you have with him, don't forget the success he's had there as well. And I don't think 32, 33, 34 is that old anymore. It's just not. We're paying guys to pitch into their 40s now. I don't like this move for the Cubs.
I don't either.
If they're reallocating it and it's going towards Kyle Tucker, sure. If that's what you think is the only way to sign him, which for a team like the Cubs is insane that you'd have to get rid of a starting pitcher making $19 million a year so you can go sign Kyle Tucker. Like, you got that cash. Let's go. I don't like this move at all. I truly do not.
Yeah, they need to start. There was that social media post that showed the amount of revenue and how much you're putting back into the team and all sorts of stuff. And it did not shine Cubs ownership on the best light possible. I can tell you that. So there are going to be fans that are closely watching how they operate here in the offseason. So I don't know if that means getting big free agent spending. They still have one of the top farm systems in baseball. And a bunch of those guys are outfielders that are ready to play. So even if Kyle Tucker leaves, you've already got 2 spots taken up with Pete Crow Armstrong, who obviously had a horrible second half, but a great first half. and obviously isn't going anywhere. And Ian Happ is still under contract there. So if you want to at least even trade for a controllable starting pitcher that is very good and could be on the move, go do that. But you have to fill this void, and you have to continue to build. They did not have enough depth there regardless. So it did surprise me. Go make a move. A bunch of other big name players who have opted out of their contracts: Bregman, Bellinger, Alonso, Edwin Diaz, Robert Suarez. Others declining their half of a mutual option included Michael King, Brandon Woodruff, Lucas Giolito. Out of that group of 8 or so, who's the most interesting?
I think Bregman. I'm very curious to see where he ends up. I think he's kind of was a polarizing player that's now turned himself into like some sort of like clubhouse kind of savant. So he's really changed the narrative going to Boston. I do think there's a ton of teams that need him. He's going to demand a ton of money because of the way he played this year. But I'm curious the most to see where he ends up, I think.
So last year it was down between, the report was, Boston and Detroit.
Yeah.
And Detroit gave him a really, really nice offer, and he decided to go to Boston. Do you think that Detroit will go after him, even with this Skubal stuff being out there in the baseball stratosphere?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
I mean, he definitely makes sense for the team. Yes. I mean, look, if what we're seeing out there on the Skubal front is accurate, it doesn't seem like he's going to be back there.
I know. And you remember when I first mentioned it, and you looked at me like I couldn't.
I didn't know it was going to be a $250 million gap in the negotiations, and that's preliminary. We can get a little hotter during the offseason, but if they're saying they don't want to pay this Skubal and they end up trading him, which I think, again, it's just insane to me. I'm like not about that life. Like pay your guys, keep them around. Let's go. Then the obvious pivot will be Alex Bregman.
Okay. Interesting. I've got Edwin Diaz as the one to watch. He opted out of 2 years and $37 million remaining. He's going to be 32 at the beginning of next season. Let's remember, he is the only closer that signed a $100 million free agent deal, and he's been pretty good and very dependable, right? Outside of celebrating for his country in the World Baseball Classic, he has been there for the Mets. But that's the thing. If whatever team signs him, I'm putting a clause in the contract that says you can only shake hands at the conclusion of the World Baseball Classic games. No jumping up and down, please. We don't want to tear our patellar tendon. He has pitched at least 60 games 6 times since 2017. Last year, an ERA plus of 2.48. In his career, more than 14 strikeouts per 9. And if you say, well, maybe that number's going down a bit, he was still over 13 a season ago. And there's going to be a ton of teams that'll go out. I mean, for God's sakes, Tanner Scott, a little bit younger last year when he went to free agency, but did not have nearly the resume that Edwin Diaz has, got 72 mil. So I fully expect him to get somewhere around that number if you're going to go 4 years. If it's going to be 3, it's probably 60, 65, something like that. But he is a guy, I just mentioned the Braves. They need a closer. Maybe they go in and go do that. There's a ton of other teams that could use his services.
Neither of us said Pete Alonso, which I also think he's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he ends up. I also think Bregman, a dark horse, is the Royals. And I know Maikel Garcia is a stud at third base. So think about this infield. Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Alex Bregman at second base, Vinny Pasquantino at first base.
Yeah, Maikel Garcia just won the Gold Glove over there. And Bregman, I think, won it the year before, if I'm not mistaken.
He was willing to move in Boston.
He was.
I don't know. Actually, no.
I don't know if Kansas City gives that money to him.
No, I don't think so either, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Where's another good spot for him? You think it's Tigers or bust?
No. I think that there's some team that we're not thinking about that. And also, the thing we don't ever factor are trades. If you feel like you can sign a guy and trade another dude who might be at that position, who's a pretty good ball player, and strengthen your team elsewhere, I think those are the fun moves.
Trades are tough to predict because
they're impossible.
Teams value players so differently than most like the public does, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I would agree with all that. Hey, quick shout out to our friends over at Nike. Playoff baseball, that's a wrap, but it was fun. So you know what you got to do? Get ready for the offseason with your Nike gear. That means head to toe. Like I always show you the Nike shoes. Go get yourself some, but then get yourself a nice sweatsuit, which I've got coming in the near future, and I can't wait to bust it out on this show and show you what I got working there, making me feel young and vibrant yet again. So go check out our affiliate link in the description below to shop amazing Nike gear. Go get yours today. All right, last thing before we get out of here for the day, 8 of baseball's biggest names up for enshrinement into the Hall of Fame as candidates on the Contemporary Eras ballot that is trying to do right what was done wrong by players since 1980. Look at the names on this list. Bonds, Clemens, Mattingly, Dale Murphy. Those are all returners from the 2022 ballot. They are joined by Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Fernando Valenzuela, and Gary Sheffield. How interested are you in this voting, which takes place at baseball's winter meetings in December?
Is it bad if I say like I'm really like not super interested in it?
No,
Does that make me like a bad baseball fan?
No.
Like I'd be interested if like Bonds and Clemens got in, and then I think that's a big talking point. But other than that, I'll be happy for these guys, and I think they deserve respect, all of them. But I'm just like I'm not that interested in it. I don't. It doesn't pique my interest almost at all.
Really?
And no Kenny Lofton, right, on this one?
No Kenny Lofton, which I thought was a gross oversight. He didn't make it onto the ballot,
which is I don't know how these things are like kind of put together.
Well, I think this list is the toughest one because you could almost go through the entire group and say, man, that guy's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Chris. Like, I don't, yeah. A
Right?
lot of people you could say that about.
Yeah.
I'm a big Hall guy.
So for me, I love the Hall of Fame. I love the discussions. I love the arguments that we get into. People have heard my take on this in the past. I would have voted if I was a member of the Baseball Writers of America. I would have put both Bonds and Clemens on my ballot. I felt like it was the sport that screwed up, and even though these people made individual choices that obviously cost them dearly, I thought the entire sport was sideways on this issue and never took a stand until roughly 20 years ago when we started implementing testing and drug penalties for PEDs. So I've said that. I also think Gary Sheffield, I think he's the guy that I'm circling here because he was mixed up in some of that stuff without going down the same Bonds Clemens line. But when you look at his career, a WAR of 60, 500 homers, an OPS over 900, a World Series champion. Last year, he was on the writer's ballot for the 10th and final time and got almost 65% of the vote, which means you're really close. You have to get 75% to get in. Here, it's a 16-member committee made up of Hall of Fame players, veteran media members, and Major League Baseball executives. And so you wonder whether or not they really truly how closely they pay attention to the way that the baseball writers voted this whole thing. Or do they just scratch it and say, these guys screwed up, we have to do this right? Remember, they got Fred McGriff in. He got all 16 votes the last time. Bonds and Clemens didn't even receive 4 votes last time. So they weren't close. It'll be really interesting. Really interesting.
You do love that, huh?
Oh, I dig it.
I mean, Sheffield has a very, very good case, yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you talk, I obviously got to see Gary's entire career when he came up as a teenager, when he was booting balls left and right as a shortstop in Milwaukee, and then he gets traded to San Diego and becomes one of the most feared bats there was in all of baseball. That little waggle that he did, and quick hands, and whew.
Everybody did that growing up, like literally everybody.
So if I had to vote right now, if I had to guess as to how many guys get in, I think Sheffield's going to get in on this vote. And I think that Don Mattingly, who got half of the 16 votes in 2022, I think he gets in. I think his name
that'd be nice for Don Mattingly after the excruciating end to the World Series.
Yeah, that was tough, wasn't it? That was kind of a bummer.
I wonder how Blue Jays fans are feeling now. Like, what's going on?
I think that this one stings for a while. I don't, I can just take myself back to 2016. It wasn't like I just got over it and moved on.
I think this has got to be worse than 2016 because there were so many of these little things that everyone's still harping on. Like the IKF lead is still going. I mean, the fact that they blew it. I mean, the fact that they blew it in the 9th with their closer on the hill to Miguel Rojas is, there's just the Will Smith being this far off the plate. Like there's so many little things that you're just like, oh my God, if he would have taken 2 feet bigger lead. And that's been the craziest discourse on social media right now is players going up against writers, going up against fans, talking about that lead. And Justin Turner's been a staunch defender of it. Whit Merrifield's been a big defender of it. I tend to not agree with those guys. I think that's they played very, very unaggressively. And I wouldn't even call it aggressively to get off more there. Understanding Varsho's spray chart and all of those things, I think you have to take that into account. I do believe the third base coach who told IKF to be closer to the bag was thinking about the line drive to Muncy that Jimenez hit. That was in his mind, different batter, different spray chart, different part of the game.
Yeah.
But it's all in the moment. It's like, it's crazy, dude.
It is crazy. I mean, we're talking about that much separating Will
Oh my
Smith's
gosh,
feet
dude. It's
from
like
a
giving me
plate.
chills just thinking about it right now. Like,
I know. We had to go back and look at it and say, are we sure that he kept his foot on the plate? Yeah, he did.
oh,
I mean, he didn't keep it on. Then he went back and touched it. It really was mind-numbing stuff. And the numbers for the World Series in terms of viewership was great for the sport, which is why I'm begging people that have to make decisions on both sides to get this shit done.
It's not going to be a lockout. It's not happening. People are crazy with this.
Okay, but you can understand why everybody's kind of walking on pins and needles these days.
You'd be the dumbest businessman in all of the land to try to have a lockout right now after what we just saw.
Okay.
I'm
Do you
being
really need me
serious.
to? You really need me to take that a step further? I don't feel like it today.
Okay.
And as far as, once again, kind of putting a period on the Blue Jays fans and how they'll feel, I can only tell you this. I hosted a 30th reunion special earlier this year in Cleveland for the then Indians making the World Series. And Mike Hargrove, who was the skipper of that team, said people still come up and ask him about the 95 World Series and how long it took him to get over it. And he said, I'll let you know when I do. That's 30 years after a series that did not end the way this one did. So I'm not so sure that people do get over it. Hang in there, Blue Jay fans. We're with you. We feel your pain a little bit. I definitely do. All right, Slash Line. We told you a little bit about it earlier. It's the new way to shop your favorite gear at the John Boy Media Store. It's the same JM merch team, same incredible designs, just a better website, a better overall experience for you, and a cooler name for our store, which we kind of dig. Slash Line. It's all about showing off your favorite team, your favorite player, your favorite moment, loud and proud. Click the link in the description to shop now. Why? In part because holidays are right around the corner. If you're like, I don't have anything for a baseball fan in my life, go do this. Go shop your gear. Come on now.
This is vintage now, Chris. I don't think we sell this one anymore.
I think you're right.
The old logo.
Once again, we are going to be with you a couple times every week, but it could be more depending on what happens with free agent signings and trades, and we'll be there for all the breaking news. We're always around. You know, we love our family, so we're always close to home anyway. So make sure you tune in to the off-season edition of Baseball Today. Let's keep those numbers strong so we can keep doing what we want to do for you out there. We had a really, really fun 2025, and we have you to thank for all of that. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you later this week, most likely Friday, here on Baseball Today.